now we bring in Mark Teixeira. Mark, how you doing? Michael, Don, and Peter, what's going on?
I'm doing great, gentlemen. How are you?
Doing well. 17 out of 18. I don't think that those of us that have not been in the arena can truly understand how incredibly special and difficult that is in baseball, where a pitcher could just crap out one night. Tell me what 17 of 18 would mean to you.
You're absolutely right, Michael. I mean, when we talk about a nice stretch as a team, when I was a player, it's like we want to win 5 out of 6. 6 out of 7. Let's get a nice stretch here where we can, make a couple games up in the standings or maybe extend your lead. You never even try to win this many games, 16 out of 7. It's just, you do this when you are, everything's kind of going your way and you're extremely talented. And I think that's what's happening with the Yankees right now.
Torres and Duhar both had great at-bats yesterday, working counts, hitting the other way. And it's become such a lost art that the batters do that anymore, right? So how rare is it, do you think, for young kids to get called up and not swinging for the fences every time they see a pitch?
It is rare, and the reason that it's working with the Yankees is because these guys are hitting down in the lineup. These guys know it's not their job to hit 2 home runs a night and carry the team. And it's the best position to put a young player. It's very tough as a young player to come in and light the world on fire from day one out of the 3, 4, 5 hole. It's just, baseball's not set up for that. I mean, my first year, but the first 2 months of the season, I was really bad. And by June, I got my feet wet and started getting a little confidence, and then I kind of went rolling from there. But the reason that these guys are doing such a great job is you have veteran players around them that are carrying the load. You have some really, talented, kind of younger players, Didi Gregorius and Aaron Judge, that kind of put their arm around them and say, hey, guys, we got this. We just need you to be you. Get the guys over, get them in, hit your home run here and there, but we don't need you to carry the team.
I'm wondering, we keep asking these questions about the Mets, so I'm going to ask you about the Yankees. Yankees were 9-9, and now they have the best record in baseball. What are they closer to, 9-9, or a team that's won 17 of 18?
They're way closer to the best team in baseball. This is the only team that I thought was better than them on paper going into this season was the Astros. And really, at full strength, I still think that the Astros starting pitching actually gives them a leg up in a 7-game series. But when you take 162 and the amount of damage that this Yankee lineup can do, I think the Yankees right now are the best team in baseball from a 162 the entire year standpoint.
Would this be happening with Joe Girardi as the manager?
It could easily be happening, but I think what Aaron Boone showed right away was when they struggled out of the gate and were playing really sloppy baseball and were 9-9, and everyone was saying, this team is overrated and Stanton stinks and blah, blah, blah. Aaron Boone was so calm and so relaxed, and that's exactly why he was hired. And we can talk about it all day long, but this game is supposed to be played relaxed. If you squeeze that bat, or you're on the mound and you squeeze that ball, bad things happen. You have to play relaxed with a quiet confidence.
And I agree with you, and I guess that's the easy answer considering that they did get off to that slow start. But you don't think coming back from 2-0 down, facing elimination in 3 straight games against Cleveland, wasn't a big thing either? I mean, Joe Girardi was a part of that.
I said Joe could have easily been the guy here. No, you didn't hear what I said. I said I can't say if they'd be in this position or not. But what I'm saying is Aaron Boone handled the 9-9 start exactly how everyone thought he would handle it, and it allowed the team to just go out and play baseball and then go on this amazing run.
17 of 18 sounds amazing, but now they're on an 8-game winning streak. And I said this earlier, Mark, I want to get your take. The 8 games in a row that they've won, all against first-place teams. To me, that's unbelievable. How about you?
That is way Yes, that is way more impressive, Michael. I mean, we can look at some really good months that teams have, and a team might go 22-5 in a month, and you go, wow, that's a great month. And you look who they played, and they played pretty much fourth and last place teams the entire month. You should win those games. There were series that you go into the old Baltimore pitching staff or the old Tampa pitching staff when I was a young player, and you're like, if I don't get 2 hits every night and we don't score 8 runs every night, then it's my bad. And that's not the teams that they're beating right now. They're beating teams with really good pitching, with really good lineups, and doing it top to bottom.
Now, we've got a lot of really good text messages that people want to ask you questions. So here we go. Chris Wolf from Staten Island. Mark, what do you think happens when Greg Bird comes off the DL? Who becomes the odd man out?
Oh, man. That's a tough question. I think you're going to see Neil Walker being the odd man out. I think Neil Walker was a low buy and middle of spring training insurance policy that they've needed, and he hasn't been great, but he's been solid enough that obviously they can win 17 out of 18, so he's not hurting them. But Greg Bird is an all-star caliber talent. When Greg Bird comes back, you're not moving Andujar or Torres, right? I want to see those guys play pretty much every day. Give them a day off here and there, but those guys need to play almost every day. And Birdie, I mean, yeah, he might need a couple days off early too, but he also needs enough at-bats to get his timing. So I don't want to see Bird sit against lefties. Maybe Chris Sale, but a soft-throwing lefty, Birdie needs to be in that lineup because he's got to get his timing down. Because of Game 7 of the ALCS this year, if the Yankees are throwing out a lineup lefty or righty, Bird's in there.
This is from Frank in Brooklyn. Mark, do you think Didi is a better defender than Jeter was? He made an amazing double play yesterday. I feel like he has more range and a better arm.
Yes, and Derek will tell you that. That's not, I mean, Didi is a all-world defender. Derek was a very good defender, but Didi does things that most people cannot do. And he makes it look really easy. He's so smooth. He is a special player. And, maybe Derek's best year and Didi's best year, they're close. But I think when you look at an entire season, the easy plays he's making, the tough plays he's making, the unbelievable highlight reel plays, he's making those as well. So I think Derek will probably tell you the same thing.
Chris from Freehold, New Jersey wants to know, what did Mark think of his John Sterling home run call when he was a Yankee?
I loved it. I thought mine was super cool. Text message on the Mark Teixeira was great. Some of the things he's throwing out now, he talked about this, guys. John, I don't know what is going through my man John Sterling's head with these Giancarlo Stanton calls.
Oh, man.
I mean, it's like, it is, we don't need to hear him sing. Guys, we need to. Michael, you got some pull. Why don't you
we tried. We tried yesterday.
Yesterday I said I was going to tell him, and then I thought about it. I said, you know what? It's not my place. This guy's a legend. It's got to be either Giancarlo or it's got to be one of his bosses, not me.
Now, Tex, you got a pretty good one. Tex, you were pretty happy with yours, right?
Yeah, he said
I loved mine. I was very happy with mine.
So how aware are the players of it? Like, do the players know and have opinions on if they think they're bad?
Yeah, they are, but, I was lucky enough to hit a lot of home runs, and so it was more people on the streets. So, I'd be at a restaurant or, walking down the street, and people would just yell out to me, "You're on the Mark Teixeira," or before the game, I'm stretching down the right field line, and fans are saying, "Send us a text message." So that's the kind of stuff that I heard. We don't really talk about it that much in the clubhouse.
If you didn't like it, would you tell John you didn't?
If it was awful, I would have said something. Yeah.
And this
Nick
one
Swisher did.
Awful.
Yes, I absolutely would have, because hopefully I'm hitting 30-plus a year, and they're saying it a lot, and I don't want people to not like me because they didn't like John Sterling.
You know what, Tex? Let's go back and listen. I think maybe you'll like the second one more now. Hold on.
Okay.
2-1. Swung on, hit in the air to right field and deep. It is high. It is far. It is gone. A Stantonian home run to right field. Giancarlo. Non-Domenico. That ball sure traveled far. Giancarlo. He hits his second home run of the night.
That's great.
Still hate it, guys. Still hate it.
Now, Ben from New Hyde Park, I don't know why he wants to know this, but this is his text message to you. Mark, how do you like your eggs cooked?
That's a good question. I mean, if I not thinking at all, I'm just going to say scrambled egg whites. But if you really gave me a well-poached egg, man, I love a well-poached egg.
You know what I thought about?
What?
That goof thing with Earl Weaver. When's a good time to plant a tomato plant? And then he went off on that's how out of left field that was.
Have you ever in your life, Mark, been on a team that batted out of order like the Mets did yesterday?
No, but I'm gonna have to give Mickey Callaway some credit. It wasn't his fault because that is 100% the bench coach's job. So the bench coach, the manager's got a lot of stuff going on during the day. Every team I've ever been on, the bench coach checks it 3 times. 3 times. You know, he checks it after batting practice just in case someone gets hurt, right? So, okay, still the right thing. He checks it before he leaves the office, but, you know, to go in onto the field to make sure he's got the right lineup card. Then right before the game, before he goes out to the umpire, whoever the guy's going to be out there exchanging lineups, he checks it. So Mickey took the bullet, and that just shows the character of Mickey Callaway. I'm a big Mickey Callaway fan, but it wasn't his fault.
But should he have noticed Flores in the on-deck circle and realized that wasn't the order, or has he got too much going on at that point?
He's got a lot going on.
Okay.
I mean, again, it happens. You know, this isn't like it happens once every 30 years. I mean, this happened, I think, a couple years ago. Maybe the Brewers it happened to a couple years ago, and then the Reds. I think they said the Reds actually 10 years ago. It happened against the Reds versus the Mets. So it's one of those just unfortunate incidences that they do happen.
And Gary DiSarcina is the assistant coach that would have made that mistake in the dugout. I made a mistake myself, Mark. I thought at the beginning of the year, with these pitchers just not going long, that no-hitters would be few and far between. We've already seen 2. It seems like every night somebody's got a perfect game through 6. The way these guys are just swinging for the fences, David Cohn said the other night during the broadcast, we may see a record for no-hitters in a season. You think that's going to be the case?
Yeah, you're going to start seeing a lot more because you have great pitchers that are now throwing really hard. So, you know, imagine if Greg Maddux threw 95. You know, this guy would be unhittable. Some of these balls, I watched Severino pitch the other night. There's no way in my prime, if he told me this was coming, that I could have hit some of those rising fastballs or dirty sliders. I mean, that's how good these pitchers are nowadays. So you get some really great pitchers throwing hard and hitters that completely understand the way the game has changed. I'm not hitting the ball on the ground because I'm out. I got to hit the ball in the air. That's a recipe for no-hitters, and that's what you're seeing right now.
I'll give you the Yankee question, but tune it to the Mets. Are the Mets a team that was 11-1, or are the Mets the team that's now?
Well, I got asked this last week. You know, I think Don asked me this last week, and last week I said I still think they're making the playoffs. Ah, man, I'm changing my tune right now. And this team has not gotten much better since last week. I just think that the East is much better than I thought it was.
Yeah.
So part of my reasoning for the Mets getting into the second wild card was I didn't think the Braves were going to be that good. I didn't think the Phillies were going to be that good, and I knew that the Marlins were going to stink. So the Braves and the Phillies are actually pretty good. They got some young talent, and the
Marlins keep winning series.
Yeah, the Marlins. I'm still going to take the 100-loss prediction for the Marlins, but I think you look at the Braves and the Phillies. They're the 2017 Yankees. It's like, hey, wait till next year. One more year, they're going to be ready. But these kids are coming up and they're playing well. And the Nick Markakis of the world have a little more pep in their step. And you always see that with veteran teams that get injected with young players. So the young players obviously add a lot of talent, and the veterans get excited. The veterans really want to see young players join their lineup, join their rotation, and it makes them kind of get a second wind in their career.
And, Mark, I don't know this for a fact, but I'd have to assume this might be the first time ever that a team won 12 of their first 14 games to start the season, and by May 10th, they're in fourth place. And that's what's happened. And the Nationals are still a legit team, right? So the Nationals are still the team they're favored to win that division.
Yeah, the Nationals are getting better. Let's not give up on the Mets just yet. I mean, this is a long season. They've hit a rough patch. But, again, I just didn't expect the Braves and Phillies to be so good. So the Mets are actually going to step up their game if they're going to sneak into the playoffs.
Do you go into your closet, put on the old number 25 Yankee jersey, walk around town, and people say, hey, that's Mark Teixeira wearing Gleyber Torres' jersey?
Please say no.
I wish I could do that. That would be so cool. But, I tweeted that out a couple weeks ago and talked about how excited I was for Gleyber to have 25. And, man, he's making me look good. He's hitting home runs, and I see those 25s everywhere. I'm loving it. I show my kids all the time. Look, all those 25 jerseys in the stands, kids. Those are all Mark Teixeira jerseys.
Did you keep your stuff from all your teams? Do you have uniforms from all your teams?
I do. One of the coolest things I have in my house, in my weight room down in the basement, I have all my jerseys from Rangers, Braves, Angels, and Yankees, and they were all from like different points. So I had my All-Star jersey with the Rangers. I had the first jersey I wore with the Braves. I had, really the only jersey. I was only with the Angels for a couple months. So one jersey with the Angels and then the 2009 jersey with the Yankees. So, but very special to me.
Do you and your stepbrother talk a lot, Brian McCann?
We text a lot. Guys don't talk on the phone. I'm not sure if you guys do, and I'm not judging, but
we text. We text. And Don always sends auto replies.
No, because I went in the car. That's just being safe, right?
That is being safe. But Brian, he's in a nice little groove right now. He's playing 2 out of 3 games. They're trying to save his knees, and he's loving life. He's got a really good team around him, and that pitching staff is fun to catch. Can you
see yourself you and Brian being in the Step Brothers like sequel?
We'll do it if we get offered.
Yeah, be good. Be very funny.
I got all the time in the world. He needs to fit it into his off season. But I had all the time in the world.
The thing that you used to do with the Yes Network, people loved it. They thought you were hilarious.
I know, but you know what? We got axed. We weren't winning enough. That's why foul territory got axed, because we weren't in first place.
Wow. Now you can do
Michael,
it. You can do it daily.
Michael, you're not allowed to have fun if you're not in first place.
Right. And that's why the trivia music that they're using right now during the broadcast, people want to download it onto their phones because they've won 18 of the 20 times they've done it.
Mm-hmm.
So the Mets are not having fun, and the Yankees are.
The Mets are not having fun. But no, I was joking. You can still, even if you don't win every single game, you can still enjoy yourselves, because I'm a big believer that you got to control your own destiny. Feel good every time you go to the plate. Feel good every time you go to the ballpark. Sammy Sosa said, and you can think whatever you want about Sammy, every time he went to the plate, he said, I'm not in a slump. I'm going to hit this ball hard. I'm going to crush this ball. It didn't matter if he was 0 for 20 or 10 for 12 with 3 homers. He always felt like he was going to hit the ball hard. And that's the way that you got to go about your business in baseball, because it'll eat you up if you don't.
Good stuff, Mark. We'll talk to you next Thursday, man.
Always fun, guys.